My manipulative husband lied about vaccinating our daughter and she is now sick with polio, so I'm divorcing him. My husband is a huge conspiracy theorist and this has been our only point of contempt within the marriage. Everything else is fine, but his obsession with QAnon, Fox, the globalists, and other things can be infuriating at times. He cannot go into a single conversation without turning it political. The other day we were talking about how nice of the day it is and he commented that we better enjoy it while we can before they round us up and put us all in labor camps. He also makes sure that his political stance is known whenever we go out to meet up with other friends and desperately tries dragging them into political conversations. The thing is, he is a very loving husband and has always treated me amazingly. However, when we had our child 6 months ago, things changed for the worse. We suddenly found ourselves having heated arguments about how to raise our daughter. I wanted our daughter to be vaccinated, but my husband was insistent on us not vaccinating our child. I remember him waking me up every day with articles he found of parents complaining about how vaccines ruin their baby's health, as well as sharing stories with me which he found through Facebook. He would tell me daily that if we vaccinated our child she would die and that it would be our fault if we did it. We would be murderers. This argument of ours happened every single day until I put my foot down and told him that we're either vaccinating our daughter or I'm divorcing and vaccinating her myself. My husband seemed to reluctantly give up after I said this, and thus we began vaccinating our daughter. I was there for most of the vaccines that were administered to her, but I coincidentally happened not to be there for any of the polio vaccines due to work. I texted my husband every time and he would send me a picture of himself and our daughter at the hospital each time. I had no reason to believe he was not actually vaccinating her. Well, about 3 weeks ago we noticed our baby started getting sick. She developed a very high fever, looked to be more tired than she ever was, started having pains in her limbs, and would cry out whenever we touched her arms or legs, and her movements, especially in her neck area, started becoming stiff. We made a trip to the hospital where we had the doctors examine her. My husband and I waited patiently and did research and all the signs pointed to polio. I was super confused, however, as my husband had her vaccinated for polio, but my suspicions grew as each time I mentioned polio he deflected it and reassured me he had her vaccinated. Well, the doctor came back and delivered the news that it was indeed polio and asked if she had been vaccinated. I said yes, but that's when my husband asked me to speak privately with him. It was then that he revealed he did not vaccinate her because he thought it would all be okay if he just said he did without actually doing it. I cried and called him an idiot but then told him now is not the time for me to be mad and we will discuss this later. Over the next few weeks, we focused on helping my daughter recover and although it was heartbreaking and most of my nights were sleepless, it seems like my daughter is now doing okay. I also plan to divorce my husband. I told him this a few nights ago and he begged me not to. We had a very short talk about it and I explained to him that I could not live with a liar. He seemed pretty defeated after I made my stance clear to him.